By silently looting the American population, the government was able to get away with much more spending than would otherwise have been possible. And then we have this war, disastrous war in Iraq, the propaganda for which was fed to us by America's Pravda, the New York Times. Now, how has that war been funded? By borrowing from foreigners and creating new money out of thin air. Now, as for our current economic mess, McBama agreed with the president, who summed up his own sophisticated business cycle theory in these words: Wall Street got drunk. Well, what's their solution? For starters, hundreds of billions in bailouts to the alleged drunkards. Bailouts and scapegoating, anything other than pointing the finger where it belongs, are all McBama can think to do. To hear them speak, you'd never know the Fed's mad money creation spree and all the economic distortions that result from it had even occurred. And by the way, no, the free market does not cause housing bubbles and mortgage crises. The federal government has been pushing unsound loans on banks for years, either through legislation or through the Federal Reserve's policy of flooding the economy with cheap credit. This new money went overwhelmingly into the housing market, the result being the housing bubble that is now bursting. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are government-supported enterprises that get special tax and regulatory breaks, and that everyone knows will be bailed out if it should come to that. So there's nothing to stop them from buying up risky mortgages from banks, and banks in turn are more likely to make risky loans in the first place if they know Fannie and Freddie will be happy to buy them up. Now, that's more truth on this subject than you're going to get from both political conventions put together. Once again, the free market is being blamed for the recklessness and stupidity of the blockheads who rule us. Every 4 years, we are subjected to a pair of empty suits whose only real argument is over exactly how and through what channels they plan to squander Americans' wealth. It's enough to make the non-comatose segment of the population despair. So what can we do? Well, for starters, you can do what Ron Paul does, which is to start your day by reading LouRockwell.com. You can go to amconmag.com and read and subscribe to the American Conservative magazine, where you can read about conservatives who aren't bloodthirsty savages. But above all, today we have a special suggestion. If you're tired of having to choose between two wings of the same bird of prey, then help us change America. Go to campaignforliberty.com and join Ron Paul's Campaign for Liberty. H.L. Mencken put it this way. H.L. Mencken said, "The most dangerous man to any government is the man who is able to think things out for himself, without regard to the prevailing superstitions and taboos. Almost inevitably, he comes to the conclusion that the government he lives under is dishonest, insane, and intolerable. And so if he is romantic, he tries to change it." Isn't that a description of Ron Paul? Publishers Weekly says Ron Paul gives new life to old debates. Now, I love any compliment for Ron Paul, but I think that one's not quite right. Without Ron Paul, we wouldn't even be having these debates in the first place. Ron Paul reminds us that our future is not cast in stone, and that if we as a people so choose, we do not have to live in the kind of America that the two parties have in store for us, either more domestic spending and bankruptcy, more warfare and bankruptcy. Those are our choices. Take your pick. We don't have to choose between these any longer. We can change this country through education. So thanks to all of you, people who came from all over this country, who have made sacrifices at times of great want and difficulty, who made it here and who have made sacrifices this whole year. Thanks to you. But above all, thank you, Ron Paul.